What's up, everybody? George Samuels here, aka the Digital Wayfinder, and today I'm going to take you through two important pieces of news. First, the release of Opus 4.1, which already, if you go to Twitter, is stirring up a lot of conversations around what we can expect. It's looking good so far, but let's see. But the other piece of news is OpenAI going back to its roots with the release of, so you can see here, OpenAI just released its first open weight model since GPT-2. And if we go to Twitter, we can actually see some of what's taking place. So you can see here, we've got Matt Schumer, OpenAI just crushed it. We had their O3 level open source model running on Grok at 500 tokens per second. Watch it build an entire SaaS app in just a few seconds. This is insane. And this is, I want to be testing this out because I was actually looking at Cerebras over the last week or two. And I was amazed by how they were essentially able to output stuff 20 times the speed of what OpenAI, Claude, etc. were able to achieve. And so I will show you a bit of that here. So if we go to inference.cerebras.ai, let's see if we can get here. So this is an example. So over here, it says calculate the angle between two vectors. I started asking about other things. So I want to say here, does this mean that something like VLM, so this is visual language model, might be better than LLMs, for certain use cases. Now, watch it how quickly it does its inference. Okay, and this is, I think, in partnership with OpenAI. So imagine you have the OpenAI LLM with compute power 20 times the speed that we're used to, right? So this means like near instant. So I'm gonna hit enter. And look at all this, bam, right? So this is really going to change the way that I think people are used to using AI, because there's a period where we're all used to the thinking aspect, but I think they're already starting to clear that out. And so it's going to be super fascinating to see. Now, the other part to this video was not just those two pieces of news, but something that I've also noticed in terms of my own day-to-day digital behavior that has to do with DIA browser, okay? So this is DIA browser. All right, let's see if we can meet DIA. And if anybody wants a link to be able to access DIA, just let me know and I can share some of my invite links or tokens in the comments. Now, DIA is a new type of browser that has already replaced my Google Chrome behavior, or just use of Google Chrome in general. And why is that? First up, there is a feature in DIA browser where I can literally just chat to DIA or chat to the tabs and my browsing history. Now, the idea of chatting to your browser history is not new, but I think DIA and I think Perplexity have both come up with pretty good browsers that incorporate the AI aspects into the browser. And it actually makes a lot of sense, because if I look at my own behaviors with ChatGPT, for example, or Claude, there's a lot of information that we'd be feeding these LLMs in separate tabs. Now, what if you could go a step further and just your general browsing becomes memorized by the browser itself, so that you don't even have to type in what you want. It can infer a whole bunch of these things through your browsing history itself, because there's so much data there. And this is where I think Google Chrome still has the opportunity to step back in and reclaim users, because a lot of people already used to Google Chrome. But right now, DIA browser is doing something really interesting. So I'm going to take you through, right? First, there is something that looks like this, which are essentially skills. So when you do a / whatever, you have these little custom prompts that you can use to take action, okay? Over on Perplexity, their comment browser, they actually have agents that can work on your behalf. But I think I actually prefer the / skills function more so than the agents. I don't know what it is, but I think it's maybe the experience right now with the browsers. So this is the part that I want to show you. All right, so I'm going to say, please write an article for me about why DIA browser is so good, but from a CSD. Let's see if it knows what CSD is, right? And I'm showing this to you so you can see how its memorization feature will take in my own browsing history to fill in the gaps for stuff like this. Okay, so CSD stands for Conscious Stack Design. Now let's see what it comes up with. Okay, so it's thinking, I do believe it's using GPT. I don't know if it's O3 or 4.1, right? And so even this thinking part here, if DIA browser couples their GPT with something like Cerebras, we get a lot faster outputs, okay? So it got the damn thing. So I put CSD here, and it used it. I was talking about conscious stack design, okay? Now, if we go down, right, it says here, written in your style, okay? Now, it has written an article for me based on things I've just been browsing in general. So it's inferring a lot based on my browsing history, which is exactly what we want when it comes to using AI. We just want it to know about us, right? And I've been impressed so far because this is a bit of a surprise because one day I just asked it something and it inferred something about me, which I don't recall giving DIA that information. But when I looked up DIA browser and like how it works, it says that essentially if you turn on the memorization feature, it is going to memorize your browsing history. It is stored locally from what I've heard, and then it just uses their servers to do the summaries. Okay. So this is nuts because it has all this information based on my browsing history, and it's using that to create the article right here and there. Now, a feature that would be useful, of course, is if I had something where it could just be like share or send to another app or tab that I have open, but you can actually use DIA browser in this sort of manner. And you can see when I put at, I can choose any of these tabs that I've had open, or even if I just want history, I can say browse my entire history. Okay. So I think it's super powerful. And I think with these new types of inference systems like Cerebras, and then, these open models for, say, OpenAI, right? You can see here, OpenAI GPT-OSS 120 billion. All of these things are going to matter. And yeah, I thought I'd share that with you. Let me know your thoughts on these new releases. And if you have any questions about DIA browser, Claude 4.1, Cerebras, etc., just let me know. And yeah, we'll speak soon.